5 minutes of yoga, at least 5 to 10 minutes of yoga, can actually do a lot to set you up for your day. And often when people think about 5 to 10 minutes of yoga, automatically they're going to think, okay, I need to be moving. But yoga is a lot more than that. So you can set it up to have some movement in it. It could be journaling, it could be a bit of mindfulness, or it could be breathing. But just doing a little bit of that in the morning, that can actually set you up for a really awesome day. Hi, my name is Marita Greenidge, and I am a certified yoga instructor. I've been a yoga instructor for about, let's say, I think it's 5 years. 5 years now. So yoga and stress management, a lot of the times when we actually think about stress management, our mind is going to go first to stress of the mind, which is fine because a lot of the times when we feel stress, we feel that tightness in our head. But when you're thinking about the overall bit as it relates to stress management, you're thinking your body and your mind. And that's why yoga is such a great practice for helping you with stress. So when we think about our body, you might be sitting in a position, let's say that you're at your computer desk, and you might be hunched at your computer desk, and you may be putting stress on your body from just being in this position. Yoga helps you to then come and open out. You open out your body. So you relieve a little bit of that stress. You might have stress in your neck. So these are all things from just like sitting and, just the work of the day, that you can just have overall stress trapped within your body. So tension actually within the body. So yoga helps with that. And then of course the mind. So, and I spent a lot of time in the corporate world, so I understand how that goes. So throughout the day, when you are working, you have little bits of stress coming at you, things that can make you anxious. So you might be sitting there typing away nicely, and someone comes to you and they're like, oh, we have this problem. So that feels like an immediate injection of stress, something that you didn't even anticipate, right? And it's then, how do you cultivate a healthier response for that? And again, this is where yoga actually helps you quite a bit. So when people think of yoga, they think heavily of the asanas, which is all that movement. But the asanas are to bring you to this space where you can actually sit in stillness. And stillness is where that work happens. Because when you sit in stillness, it helps you to have greater awareness of yourself. So when you sit and you are mindful and you're meditating, and so let me take it a step back when I talk about movement, because it's going to be very difficult for you to actually sit in stillness if you have aches and pains in your body. Automatically your mind is going to go back to that ache you might have in your neck or your lower back. So yoga helps you to relieve all that, the actual physical aspect, helps you to relieve all of that, so you can actually come to sit easily in stillness. So your mind now can be clear, and you can get to a point where you get to understand yourself a lot better. So it's cultivating this awareness allows you then to cultivate healthier responses to external stimuli. So for example, and I mean, I've lived this, so I really, and I know I've used this in corporate. When you understand what your triggers are, so first understanding self, understanding triggers. So this is who I am as an individual. This thing here is a trigger to me. When this thing comes at me, I understand that it's a trigger. So I now know, okay, I'm not going to respond in this way. So there's a space that you have that you can actually cultivate something that works better for you. Instead of when external stimuli come at you, so things are going to come at you, that's life, that you automatically respond. Because when you respond automatically and you don't have that space, then you find that you might do things that may not be in your best interest, and you make a stressful situation even more stressful. So this is why it's important. Even just taking that moment, even if something isn't a trigger that you understood, even taking a moment, something happens, you might have that feeling hit. Just taking a moment, pause, have a deep breath, and then come back and respond. Instead of responding immediately, you'll find that you feel so much better overall. So all these things together help with stress management, because we live stressful lives. Things are going to happen. You can't predict what is going to happen, but you have a choice in that space in terms of how you actually respond so that you are not doing anything overall that has a negative effect on your body. When you transition out of one space into the next space, then you always have to change it your life. So I'm actually in that remote working space, So I spend a lot of time, whereas my previous role meant that I will spend a bit of time at the computer and then I'll get up and I will move around in the trade, etc. Now, so much of my time is sitting at that desk. So I have to be very intentional with making sure that I do stuff. So one of the key things that you can do, for me, I like to move it might seem weird to people, but like every hour, if I can do like something that's a little bit and it doesn't, when people hear things, they sometimes get afraid because you think that you have to do a lot. You don't have to do a lot. A little bit goes a long way. So you take it a little break, you can start to roll your shoulders forward. Maybe about 5 or so, and take your shoulders back. And you're breathing as you go. And take your hand just across the body. And again, these can be like 3 to 5 breaths. So everything you're doing one side, then the next side, right? So just getting some movement in there. Take a big inhale, raise your hands up. And then exhale, you can let it come down to one side. If you have a table or a chair where like you have a handle, you can have your hand there and just stretch all the way over. So you get a nice, beautiful stretch on the side of the body. So you're crunching on one side, stretching on the next, and you just come back and just hold the head and maybe stretch the hand off a little bit. So you get a nice little stretch here on your neck, and just a little twist. So just twist to the side. I love twists. It's one of my favorite things to do. So just a little twist. And twist to the other side. I'm not doing both all the time, but remember, everything you do on one side, you have to do on the next side. And just little seated cat-cow. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Your hands can be on your knees if you want to. And then if you want, notice I haven't even moved from the chair as yet. If you want to, you can just hold over. If you want to stand, if you want to stay in your chair, that's fine, but you can get up, you can move, and you can just do a nice little forward fold. And allow yourself to just roll all the way up and take a nice kind of little full body stretch right at the top. You take a little back bend and release your hands down. And just there, if you want to layer it up a little more, you can. You don't have to, but just something as simple as that. I already feel like I've stretched myself out a little bit just in a couple of exercises, a couple of stretches right there. So this is why I say that, when I started and I said that tip at the beginning, just a few minutes in the morning, you might find that whereas before something comes at you in the day, so you just did your little 10 minutes, little stretches, little breathing exercises, then meditate for a little bit, some mindfulness practices, guided meditation or so. And you might find that when someone that comes at you, that maybe you typically might not have been able to respond in a healthy way, you might say, I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty chill right now. Employers should really incorporate wellness or think about wellness as a key aspect overall when they're thinking about employee health. Because overall, when you're thinking about human beings and you're thinking about how effective someone can be if they're continuously stressed, you cannot do your best work if you are continuously in a high stress situation. Just think about it. I know for me, and I think about this in terms of diminishing returns. I know that I'm brightest in the day, and then the day comes at me, and then it starts to go down. I can't think as clearly if I'm consistently having something, all of these where your head is consistently tight. you'll find that's why people tell you like your best ideas come in the shower, right? You're not even thinking about the thing. The day has passed and they're just nice and easy. And then all that stuff that you were trying to work out before, suddenly it's there because you don't have all that tightness in your head. And the thing about stress is that it leads to other complications, other health complications. So it's not just you're thinking about productivity and efficiency then of the employee during the day, but you're thinking about time away from work. For anyone who wants to get into the practice of yoga, what I'd say is start small, assess your life. Start small and be gentle with yourself because you might not be able to hit everything every day. So you can actually follow me online. You can follow my Instagram. That's Eckham Wellness. And I talk about health. I talk about whole person health, just in general. I'm very big into health. So if you have any questions as it relates to yoga, reach out to me, shoot me a little DM, and then we can kind of go from there. I also teach classes. So if you want to ever come in person, I also offer online classes as well. But check me out and shoot me a message. And just remember, with the Barbados Workers Union, it's always about you.